It is another Light News Radio. Self-empowerment for the whole human being. The place where sick and tired is no longer of oneself. Featuring your host, Dr. Richard Jelisich, and co-host Deirdre Layton. Together, they finish each other's sentences, laugh, and take you from feeling hopeless to overjoyed to rock your world. And now, here are your hosts, Dr. J and Deirdre.
Welcome, fellow light travelers, to Light News Radio, Realms of Self-Empowerment. We are here to offer a grounded spirituality through penetrating interviews with awakened people who are walking their spiritual talk. I am Dr. J, your host, and my luminous, lovely light bearer co-host is Deirdre Layton. Together, we bring you grounded spirituality where the spiritual rubber hits the road, pertinent teachings and real-life applications that result in your personal spiritual awakening. Here you will find a welcome place of knowledge, free of fluff and airy-fairy spirituality, a place where you can enlighten your load and gain inner teachings, and to breathe the fresh air of your direct inner connection. We are all about helping you to empower your life through understanding your true spiritual nature. The whole human being is the integration of the mind, body, spirit. So we spend a lot of time, Deirdre and I, doing very grounded spiritual work so that we could bring this show to you. Our whole purpose is to bring you philosophy, teachings, techniques, and people who are walking their talk so that you can use those teachings to empower your own life. So come aboard our beam of light as we travel the waves of knowledge and wisdom for the next hour. How are you doing today, Deirdre?
Well, as usual, I'm doing fabulous. I'm excited about our show. We always have such neat guests and things when we have our show. I mean, not that I'm not excited about our show that we do, just you and I. At least this week, I'm not fighting with Skype. So
last week was hard.
It was crazy, you know, that's not being able to connect. And I tell you, so listeners, Windows 10 just hijacked my Skype last week, and I wound up using my cell phone to do our show. So if it sounded a little gobbledygook sometimes, that's probably why. But it managed this week to figure it all out, and here I am, and woohoo! We're ready for a great show.
Sometimes artificial intelligence is artificial, but it's not intelligent.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. Oh, so I am so sick and tired of rain. Did you know that we, in the first 3 days of August, we already in Calgary had enough rain for the whole month?
Wow, on your average, You were saying it was the rainiest summer in Calgary for the past 60 years, 60 years. That's amazing.
I have been here 30 years, and I have never seen
you wouldn't think so in the summer
like this. It's crazy. It makes me want to move somewhere hot.
Well, speaking of hot, our hot producer, Nesha, is in Belgrade, or rather near there in Serbia, I believe. And it's about 74 degrees there, I think. No, it's in the 80s, he was saying. And here I'm in San Diego. So, you know, we truly are in the age of interconnection. And I wanted to say that one of the beauties about having this show, Deirdre, is we get to kind of call our own shots, you know, internet radio being you can say pretty much anything you want. Yeah. But more than that, we can kind of pretty much do whatever we want, which includes we have always worked to bring on guests whom we feel walk their talk. But one of the added bonuses is sometimes those guests are dear friends of ours.
Yeah, I know.
You know, and it makes it so much sweeter because you kind of know the person, and then you can give them a whole bunch of crap too, and then see how they respond on radio because maybe they've never been on radio. But I really enjoy the fact that you and I have cultivated friendships with people whom we really do feel walk their talk.
And you know what? I think that's what makes the show is being able to support people out there who really do walk their talk. And So listeners, we have a guest that we're going to introduce in a little bit here, who is really doing just that. And we would love to invite you to come online, of course, at Bold Radio Station off of Spreaker. And you can use the chat box there, and we can have some conversations. But you can also call in, because we are live, and you can call in at any time. Mm-hmm. And our number here for live radio is 1-248-629-0921, and that's toll free. So you can't beat that, right? Like, you just can't.
No tolls, no trolls.
No tolls, no trolls. So,
nope.
So
got her.
Spreaker.com/user/bold.
Oh, it's going to be a good show.
And that's where you can find us. And of course, you can always click it, share it, download it, whatever you would like to do. But we do have a contest going on, so we can't forget to announce that. We are challenging all of our dear listeners to download, to share, to comment, and give us feedback on our show, either live on air or through our Facebook page, Twitter, all those different venues, the social media out there. And we're offering, a free private session with Dr. Jelicic. Our 10th caller in during a show gets a little mini reading. We could even put our guests sometimes on spot for that too, if we get enough,
right.
We get callers,
Our guest today kind of falls in that category.
Yeah, So, and I just think that we're branching out. We're doing all that we can to support our listeners. And so please do call in, email info@lightnews.org. Check out our website, www.lightnews.org. And of course, you'll find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, you name it, YouTube. We are on YouTube, Light News, for meditations and things like that. So, yeah, oh my God, we're all over the place, but it's a lot of fun. And again, that number to call in is 1-248-629-0921. So, Richard, before we do get our guest on the show today, what is it, or where are you off to? Because I know that you've got a lot on the go, and you get to go on a little bit of a holiday on Friday.
Well, my sister and I are caretakers for my mother. My mother is 98, and she can outdo and outthink and outwork just about anybody I know. Just has a completely together wit, sharp mind, and so it's a real pleasure to have this gift of looking after her. And so she's Swiss, and so they have a Swiss kind of a gathering thing up in Tacoma, Washington, second Sunday every August. And this weekend we're going to Tacoma to a thing called a Schwing Fest. Now, a schwinger, Deirdre, is not what you think it is. Although your mind may have gone there, and I'm perfectly fine with that. But a schwinger is a reference to a wrestler. And typically in the old days in Switzerland, these young farm kids would stand on a pile of sawdust and wrestle each other, trying to upend each other, and it turned into a sport. So they got the Oompa band playing in the background, and these swingers, these wrestlers, doing their thing, plus ample amounts of cerveza, beer going, and the bratwurst, and then the dance at night, and so Carolyn, my sister, and I, we go and we support my mom so that she can have a good time, and it's a delightful time off. It really is. And plus, in service to my mother, it's just an honor to be in this position.
Well, and I just wanted to make note that your mom is celebrating her 99th birthday soon. So she's 98 years old, getting on an airplane with you guys, and gonna go and have a swinging good time.
And we'll have to try and keep up with her. That's the truth. Yeah. Not kidding.
I think it's amazing. Yep. Oh. And so you've got that coming up. You've got some flower readings coming up next week too, don't you? You're doing you're doing what? 2 flower readings next week, and in support of venues in the San Diego area, you have a special rate for those readings, correct?
What was the question?
I said for supporting the venues in the San Diego area, the new venues, you have a special rate for these.
Oh,
flower
yes.
readings.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. Yeah, I didn't hear that part. Yeah, in fact, usually, flower readings, when I started doing them in 1992, I was asking $10, and eventually over the years it got up to $50 per flower reading. But for these 2 venues, they are, I think, $20 for one and $30 for the other. So it's really, really affordable to come and get your flower readings in San Diego. Plus, we now have flower readings remotely. Anybody, anywhere on the planet can host a flower reading, and I can Skype in. We've done this before. It's incredibly accurate, and it's a lot of fun. So it's a little freaky, but it's a lot of fun, and really look forward to doing the flower readings because it really shows where the rubber hits the road spiritually.
Yes, and then I wanted to also let our listeners know and to thank them for all their support, because without the support of our listeners out there, we don't get this radio show and keep it going. And and we have been able to sell out our trip to Sedona that we go on. This will be our 2nd annual retreat, meditation retreat, Sacred Heart, to Sedona, Arizona, and I'm excited. Like we're sold out 2 years in a row. So listeners, I've got everything in the pot, the kettle's boiling and all of that jazz, and the fire's rearing, so that we can in January announce our next year's journey, which will be September 21st to the 26th. So
next year we also have Costa Rica on the go.
Yeah.
Right. And we also have our plant medicine conference in Calgary in June. So we got lots on the go.
We do. And lots of fun stuff, including tarot card classes, advanced flower reading, and mediumship. So check out the website, or drop me a line at info@lightnews.org. You can call me at 877-242-5721. But I think, listeners, we should get going with our show. So one more time, our call-in number is 248-629-0921. And we have a really sweet guest today.
Yeah.
Her name is Tania Steeves. I've known Tania probably about 5 or 6 years now, and I consider her a spiritual supermom. She has been able to see the world in many shades of gray rather than the black and white. Mm-hmm. And while realizing that we are all along our same path, she really has put it as a different journey and has helped many people find their way, but find her own way and to find peace in life and gain valuable relationships through that. So she's just really cool.
And sometimes it's the quiet ones, you don't realize how much they really do. And, to speak to Tania, it would seem like maybe there's, she's quiet. She doesn't talk about all of the things that she's involved in. But Deirdre and I thought, spiritual supermom, how are we going to describe that in the course of an hour? So when Tania starts to speak, Deirdre and I might have to jump in and drag a little bit more out of her. So let's see how it goes, Dee.
I don't know. Tania, are you there?
I'm here.
How are you today?
Hello. I'm doing great.
Oh, good. I realized that we kind of butchered your bio up to fit you. But
no, not at all.
It is who you are. It is who you are. I wanted to quickly get you to introduce yourself a little bit, because you've been on a spiritual journey for a very long time. And I just wanted to ask you, about what age did you start your journey on really looking deep and trying to figure out life?
Well, as far back as I can remember, I remember people telling me, this is the way the world is, and these people have to be with these people, and you can't associate with them. And I was like, well, why? Because that doesn't seem very fair. If I want to be with this one, or friends with that one, or marry that one, I should be able to, because we're just people and what we were meant to be. So that was really little. I remember sitting in the back of an old, probably a 70s Comet, thinking about that. But more recently, probably about 2010, when I started thinking about things a little bit more, and I did take the 2-year Healers course with Dr. J, and that just brought a lot of things to light in terms of, a lot of the ways that I thought there was validation for them. There was reasons why I thought that way. That's perhaps the way things should be. And so it just made me start to maybe believe in myself more, give me more confidence to go out on what maybe seemed like my own ledge for a while, and how I saw the world. And I'm always a bit of thinking of the world as, well, this is the way it maybe could be or should be, and I guess it's how you perceive things. And I always believe there's a reason for things that happen. There's a reason why I met multiple people previous to the time that I started Healers training who were in Healers training, and then we started incorporating that into one of my other hats. I was a dental hygienist, and
right.
I worked for Dr. Friedman in the periodontal office, and so we incorporated lots of that within our treatment, and we saw incredible success, so much so that when it was documented, some of the journals wouldn't accept that because they thought, well, that's just not that's not real.
Right.
That couldn't happen. You can't get that much healing. So that made me start thinking, wow, there's just so much more out there, and that just started the ball rolling in so many different avenues.
And you also studied to become a licentiate minister in Universal Church of the Master, which is a spiritualist organization, and you have engaged in spiritual counseling and giving messages from Spirit to people as well. And I suspect had we someone calling in right now, you'd be more than pleased to give them a message.
Yes.
I'm just saying.
Oh, yes, just saying. Yeah. And so through the Healers training, I wanted to dive into it even deeper, and it just made me realize that this is just the right path, and being able to see, like how Dee said, seeing things in lots of shades of gray, saying that, there is no definite yes or no or right or wrong. There's lots of different areas, and really we're all doing different things, but we're all going to the same place. We're all heading in the same direction. We want peace and love and acceptance, really, right? And through all of those things, that really helped me to realize that, and perhaps gave me a lot more confidence to try even more things and see what more I was able to.
But you do. Ever since Deirdre and I have known you, you've always been this multifaceted person, but you're kind of quiet about it. So, you're a mom. You get your kids involved in sports, so you're very active in sports. You took Healers training, a spiritual course. You became a licentiate minister. And there's probably half a dozen things we don't know, some probably very juicy, but at the same time.
That's another show.
That's another show.
And listeners, this woman can bake.
Oh, yeah, I was just going to say that.
This woman can cook.
So I know that she has made some very good cakes. Mm-hmm. Very good cakes. So tell us about that, because, I know you put a lot of love and attention into that. And it's interesting because from talking to people, I know that anytime you've done anything, they say that the cakes feel like they've they're energetically balanced before they get them. Do you do a prayer on them? Like it's
I am energetically balancing my cake right now. Oh
yeah,
my
I
goodness.
know.
No
I know.
prayers, but maybe lots of breath work and praying that it works out okay.
Oh, I love that.
It's just, the whole energetic process and really putting my all into anything, right? And, talking about gaining confidence. And that's one area that's really a difficult area, putting myself out there for others to judge, perhaps in a different way, And I believe in what I do, and I love it so much, whether it's with healers training or helping someone work through something, or even designing and decorating a cake. I just, I want others to find the joy in it as well. So even something little that I want them to enjoy it too.
Yeah. So of the umpteen dozen trillion hats that you wear, you also have started another new business. And I may be out of line here, but doing dental work on an energetic level with animals.
Yes. So really, isn't it amazing, like how everything has sort of come around, right? I was trained as a dental hygienist, and I loved that. I loved working with the people, and I was able to, if people were so anxious, I was able to calm them down during the appointment. I could sense their anxiety or their anger or fear or whatever that was. And at the end of the appointment, I know that they left feeling great. So instead of working on humans, I decided, you know what? I love these little furry creatures. I have 2 of my own. And I rescued a couple along the way. And there's always different things that I need to do to help them perhaps calm their anxiety. So I thought, how about I combine the dental aspect and the healing aspect? So I usually will bring my son or my daughter to be my assistant. And we work with these little awesome 4-legged furry friends. And you know what? They do amazing. They're so calm, and I do give them hugs and treats during it. But I'm able to clean their teeth, get their gums healthy, which really it supports their whole system. Their heart, their liver, their lungs. When you don't have the bacteria from the mouth going into the body, it's just amazing how much better they feel. Even I had one dog who had a very, I guess you call it a sick mouth, lots of bacteria problems, and I was able to, after 2 appointments, get everything so healthy. The doctor couldn't believe it, and this dog was starting to eat better and get healthier that way through the nutrition, and be able to go on longer walks because they felt better. So I get so excited about it.
I can tell.
I forget to take before and after pictures because I just see it and I get so excited, and then on the way home, like, I should have taken a picture. But so that's exciting. And I get to work not only with the furry little ones, I get to work with my kids too. So it's for me. It's
the furry little ones are not the kids. I see.
No, they're not the kids. No. Although my son, he is becoming a furry one. He's getting to be 16.
Okay.
So no.
Yeah, don't say that on air. He's going to kill you, Mom.
No, sorry.
Sad.
But no, so it's been so amazing. So I've having the confidence to be able to put myself out there was a big thing. It took a long time for me to work through that. But now that I'm so excited, and I'm just getting in the creative process right now of getting pamphlets and business cards and all of those lovely things. So
And that's all part of it. It's like, so many people are like a beautiful flower, they have so many petals that are all part of the same wonderful flower. And, what we want our listeners to get out of this is that a person can have many facets to their life. They can be doing many things, but they can be completely centered within themselves and not feel like they only have so much energy for so many things, that everything kind of has a flow to it. Now it's time for this. Now it's time for this.
Yeah.
And you just come across, Tania, and I don't patronize, you come across as such a well-rounded person, a good person. And I think, our listeners can get a lot out of how you approach life and what decisions you made, and how you are able to do all of these things, and it just kind of has a natural flow to it.
Oh, thank you. It's just, sometimes I feel like a bit of like a fart in the wind,
Yeah.
different ways. But
I think Deirdre feels that way sometimes too. Just saying.
You got me snorting there.
Whatever it is, you can just, I decide that I'm not going to do half of something, and I put everything into it, and whatever it is, maybe it's just for a short time, maybe it's for a long time, but no matter what that is, whether it's competing in triathlons, and I decided to do that. I didn't even know how to swim. And so most people thought,
I was just going to say, your life has been one, since I've known you, of complete upheaval and change every time I turn around. You started your career as a what was it?
Dental hygienist.
No, didn't you start your career? No, didn't you start your career in Ontario though, as a museum?
No. I first had to go into dental assisting work for a year, reapply, and then I went back into dental hygiene, and that was in Ontario. And then when I had the children, we moved to Alberta. We thought it was a great place to raise a family in Calgary. And then I took some time off to raise the kids, and then I had to go back and get relicensed, which was another scary thing as well. It's always about putting myself out there, no matter what it is. And there's a little bit of doubt, but then there's something within inside me that just says, you know what, you can do this. You're gonna do great. And I think that when I teach yoga classes as well, I teach anywhere from 5 to 8 a week, and there's always a bit of a meditation part in the class, and I always talk to them about perhaps something that's happening in my life, or something that just comes into my head during that time. There's usually a reason why it does. Maybe someone in the class needs to hear it. But I always let them know throughout the class that, I do have, it's a pretty intense class, but I also always let them know that I know that they can do it. I know they can do it because I did it. If I can do a triathlon in open water that I can't see my hands, and I just learned how to swim, and not exaggerate, I just learned how to swim maybe 5 months previous.
Oh my God.
I know that they can do those things, right? I believe that they can. I hope through my classes that they understand that. I always let them know there's never any coincidence in life. There's a reason why I moved to Calgary. There's a reason why I worked with Dr. Friedman.
Yeah.
All of these things, coming to healers training, wanting to go deeper, becoming a minister with the Universal Church of the Masters. All of those things, they all make me who I am to hopefully help others, right? And to understand and give them patience and kindness.
What a lovely life philosophy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's because you come from that place of love and compassion. You truly breathe and walk your talk, and that's listeners, what we do with this show is we we try to bring on the guests that can, empower you, and share some of their experiences. And I know we haven't had any callers, and I'm really sorry. So I'm going to pump it one more time here, guys. And that's 1-248-629-0921. I know that we have lurking listeners out there because they always send me texts after the show going,
yeah,
wow,
exactly.
that was
I
a
see
great
that
show.
too, G. You had a really great show, Well, why didn't you call in and let us harass you?
Yeah. Anyhow, you don't have to say your name on air, but we'll know who it is. But no, I'm teasing. But, and you throughout your life have helped many, many people. You've had many different challenges that have come and gone in your life that you've been able to embrace and to help and to nurture and to share with others. So I think it is really cool. So where do you think your journey is going to take you? Like, now that you're here, where do you think you're going to go next?
Wow. I mean, it's pretty exciting, actually. I mean, there's so many chapters and facets right now that are changing. My daughter's going into her last year of high school, then off to university. I'm doing a lot, helping my kids through certain things that maybe have happened in their life, and just helping them to understand and finding their strengths and confidence. So that
you never know what you're going to get called upon to do as a parent, because even when I was a new parent, right, there's no book out there that covers everything because every experience is so unique. And then sometimes you're in a situation, you go, well, and then you clap your hands together and say, what do I do now?
That's right. And it's happened many times. And, it is life, but it's also really seems like a journey, because if I were to have thought that I was able to do this or to talk through things and help perhaps my children see things as they are or what they can be, if someone had asked me that 20 years ago, I never would have imagined, where I could gain insight, or even having the calm and peace to talk through things that perhaps at that time you might think there should be so much anger or hurt. But being able to calmly talk through things, and hopefully at the same time that will teach my two children and my husband as well, that there's different ways perhaps to see things. And many times, I've been in different positions at work, and it's interesting, if there's someone who is doing one job, sometimes they'll see the situation in just that one way, with
and only that way. Yeah.
Right. And I would always say, well, how come it can't be this? And they would just look at me like I had 5 heads. But sometimes being able to see things through others' eyes and learning to listen. When you hear someone, listen to hear, not to talk. That's probably a big lesson that lots of people need to learn.
And it creates a safe place for either your kids or your spouse when they know that they can come to you and you're not going to go high order detonation, and that you are a good listener and you allow them to say their piece or to get hormonal or whatever they got to do. Yep. But to be calm and to realize that you have many ways of responding, that's why Deirdre came up with this title, Spiritual Supermom, because it's what we seek to do, but it's not like going to the gym is just all that easy. It takes work. You have to work at it.
That's right. It's almost, like you would talk about, like the spiritual workout, right?
Yeah. Chakra gym. Going to the chakra gym. Yep.
Going to the gym, and it's not, it's not always easy. It's not always 100% all of the time, right? But you strive to be like that. You can see yourself through your children's eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And that's probably the biggest thing. You want to be the person that they believe you are. And
well, and you are. You're as an adult. You are their mentor. You are their. Little girls look to marry men like their daddy. It's a proven fact. So what we represent to our children is definitely something that they are going to carry with them for the rest of their lives.
Yeah.
And so it takes a lot of effort and it takes a lot of patience to be able to be that person that they need.
And, a lot of it's just being present, right? And
just what I was going to say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just been, there's been many times in our lives within the past couple of years that we've had to realize that, we always talk about the big events, right? Like the going on trips or this or that or your house and things like that. But when you really think about it, it's those little things that mean so much. Just, when you, your
popcorn
dog,
in bed watching a movie.
Yes. or your dog, like so excited when you come home.
Yeah.
They're in the moment, right? They're happy with no matter what they do. They eat, they're happy. They wag their tail.
Yeah.
Getting a hug from your child before they go to bed. Like those are the little things that maybe we need to realize how important they are, how much they mean. Because there are always going to be trips. There are always going to be new purchases.
Yes, exactly.
Having to realize those things. And
I didn't mean to cut you off, but I was going to say we always ask our guests, to give a tip of something to help others empower their lives, and to me that would be an ideal tip to give listeners is to, really take that time to be a part of the lives of those that are around you. I mean, maybe you don't have children, but maybe you have parents that you're caring for, or maybe you have someone at work who needs an extra smile today, or, just being able to show your light.
And also, probably the biggest thing, too, is showing people what you're appreciative of during the day. I try to send a text or email to my children and my husband every day saying, I really appreciated it when you did this, or thank you so much for doing that. And, we all go through the motions, right? We do things, and sometimes we can be nicer to strangers than our own. And so those, another little thing that sometimes brings perhaps a little bit more happiness into others' lives, right? Because
well, that's just it. I mean, if you pick two people every day and just say, one thing I really like about you, one thing I really like, and then imagine what that does for that person's day.
I'm just sitting here thinking about it, and I'm getting all warm and tingly,
Fuzzy.
because that fuzziness. Well, you know me.
And it's it's like that shampoo commercial. And they told two friends, and they told two friends, and it gets bigger and bigger and bigger, right? So.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Wow. So I'm going to ask you to promote yourself. Now, whether or not you want to promote your cake decorating business or your new adventure with the dental hygienist as a dog dental hygienist, or as a yoga instructor, or as
all of the above.
All of the above. How can people get a hold of you? Even if they wanted to take some counseling with you, because I know that you do spiritual counseling. So
Yes.
how would people get a hold of you?
So one of the easiest ways is you can text me, which is totally fine. I usually try to answer, unless I'm not very self-service, hopefully within a day. And the best way is through text at 403-918-2448. And, any questions, concerns, wondering about what it is that I do with cakes or with dogs or doing the yoga, what different types of yoga, what can it help or heal, or how can the meditative part of it work for them, what can it do? So all of those things, they can contact me anytime. I'd be happy to discuss anything that.
Do you have an email that they could? Do you have an email that they could email you at?
Right now, I do have mine. It's tania.steeves@gmail.com. So it's tania.steeves@gmail.com, and so they can get a hold of me there. And with the cakes, I travel throughout the city. With the dogs, I do travel throughout the city, and also I've been to Airdrie a number of times as well. So I try to make it comfortable for the dog by going to. So
I'm just going to let our listeners know that's the city of Calgary, right? In Alberta,
Canada.
Yeah.
But also for the spiritual counseling, that's remotely too. People could get a hold of you from anywhere on the planet, right? Or even off planet.
Exactly. Off planet, anywhere. So just
you never know.
Yeah.
Yeah, you never know. Some astral projections, but and through spiritual counseling, if they want to do it, like Dr. J said, from afar, there's FaceTime. Something's not working with my Skype, so I can't Skype. But
maybe it's Windows.
Anything. Maybe I don't know what it is, but it's just not working today. So, it hasn't been for the last little while.
No.
So
I think
it's
that's
amazing what can be done remotely. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, I agree. It's amazing what can be done remotely. Oh, it's been an absolute joy to have you on here. What would be the most important thing that you find that you do every day to bring peace into your life?
Very nice.
Probably the first thing before I get out of bed is I do just a little meditation. Even 5 minutes. And, lots of people find that difficult, and they're trying to meditate. And one of the easiest ways I've been able to help people is just through breath work. And, we can never quiet that monkey mind.
Mm-hmm.
But if we can concentrate perhaps on our breath, maybe even counting or listening to our breath, or having your hand on your chest and your stomach to feel the rise and fall, even that moment, that's quieting the mind from the chatter, that's meditation. Even if it's for a breath, right? And so for me, if I'm able to do it for 5 minutes, it just brings a bit of calm and peace before my feet hit the floor.
Yeah.
And setting me up, thinking of all the things that I'm happy for and grateful for, rather than waking up to a buzzer and being frazzled and letting your feet hit the floor and not knowing which way to go. So that's probably the biggest thing that I try to do every day.
Yeah, that's great.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. And, listeners, when you listen to this show, you don't just listen with your head, you listen with your heart. Because maybe you can't see Tania or you don't have a photo, but you can sure feel, can you not? And that's sincerity and authenticity. And, the spiritual path is not about how many books you've read and how many teachers you've studied under. It's about how authentic you are with your spiritual self and following your own path. And I don't mean a rebellious path. I mean an authentic path to whatever is your own inner truth. Listen to that and follow that. That's a spiritual path.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Tania, so much for being on our show today. It's been it's been an absolute joy. Yeah. And I'm just going to repeat for our listeners one more time. If you want to get a hold of Tania, you can get a hold of her via email at tania.steeves@gmail.com. That's TANIA.STEEVES@gmail.com. And
and if you ever need to get a hold of us, our website, which we don't give out very often, is lightnews.org, lightnews.org, lightnews.org. And in that way, you can also catch up and find Tania through us, previous broadcasts, and other guests that we've had on the program as well.
And don't forget, these shows are downloadable and shareable. Shareable?
That's okay.
Yeah, it is a word.
It's come from the word shareable. Yeah. Yeah.
So Richard, busy. Like we had mentioned earlier, we do have an absolutely full trip. Yeah. And we have an absolutely full trip for Journey of Our Sacred Heart meditation retreat. Sedona, so come January, I will be setting out the new itinerary for the 2017 journey, which will run from September 21st through to the 26th. And some of the highlights this year are a pink Jeep tour that we are doing, going in to see some sacred Hopi glyphs and things like
ruins,
that.
Right.
Ruins.
The Lenape. Yeah. They call them they call them the Sinawa people, Sinawa, which means without water, a word that you know. Sinawa, and it's a name that they just made up for these people because they thought that the reason they left there is because they couldn't get any water. So we've got a lot of re-educating to do when we go and tell people about this. But also, Dee, in the time remaining, I also would like you to mention the healers training and that people can join in, both in San Diego and in Calgary.
I think you've just done that. A very good job, too.
Oh. Well, then.
Well, yeah. So you've been teaching healers training for many years now, and I know that we have 2 new groups that have started, and coming up on August 20th is their level 3. And the one group is in Camrose, Alberta, and the other group is in San Diego, California. Now, the fun part about this is this class is being taught and co-taught by myself, but taught by Dr. Jelicic, and we are doing it over Skype. And so with Dr. Jelicic in the States with his San Diego group and myself here in Canada with the Camrose group, we are jointly teaching this class. Now, there's plenty of space available for anybody who would like to join in. You can contact me at info@lightnews.org or 877-242-5721. And on our website, you can find information packets on what the course is all about, and you can download from there. But we can do a makeup class, and you can join into either one of these classes, and we would love to have you come and do that.
Absolutely.
So, that's one of the things on the go. You've got flower readings that we were talking about coming up at the Healing Spirit Holistic Health Center in Chula Vista. But
San Diego, yep.
Yeah, but also at the Tara Healing Center, and I believe that's in Crescent Heights or Hillcrest.
No, Hillcrest, San Diego area.
Yeah,
Central San Diego.
So we've got those coming up on the 16th and 17th of August. And we also have lots of stuff coming up for, the latter part of September and October with new courses, tarot class, advanced flower readings,
right,
mediumship. We're going to do the mediumship class again.
Right.
And so, these are things that people have been asking for, and we've been looking for venues and trying to pull them together. And now we're at that stage where everything is falling into place, including you're going to have regular practice sessions for free energy balancing in San Diego here pretty quick,
Right.
aren't you?
That's right. And if you'll subscribe to my newsletter, I send out about 2 per month. You can get to it through lightnews.org. And if you subscribe to the newsletter, I can let you know where and when these regular free energy work sessions will be. They'll probably be on Thursday nights, probably 2 Thursday nights per month in San Diego. We already do them on the second and fourth Monday of every month in Calgary. Anybody from the public can come and get free energy work from my students and graduates. It's a great deal. So look for that. I'm going to be announcing it within the next couple of days.
Yeah, and I'm pretty excited because in Calgary, I'm there. If Richard's available, he Skypes in, and we will try and do the same thing for all those people who are in the San Diego area. We just don't want you to feel that you're not supported. And that's one really important thing about Light News is Light News is there to empower the individual, to really help them to understand who they are, why they are, what makes everything tick. And so if we're not there to support you, it just doesn't work. So I guess we should announce who we're going to have on for our next guest on our show when we have the 24th of August.
Well, on the 17th, it'll be a half-hour show with just you and I. We'll pick something very topical and very exciting to talk about. So I don't want you guys to miss our half-hour show with just Deirdre and I, because we can get into the repartee a week from today on the 17th. Then on the 24th, we have
Reverend Dr. Janet Childs.
Right.
And I've met Janet several times now. And she is amazing. This woman, I don't know, she's been since 1970 doing active crisis intervention work. And recently it wasn't recently, when you had the major catastrophe with 9/11, she actually went to help the firefighters and the emergency response people deal with the crisis that, that happened after the fact. You lose all these wonderful people, and then now you've got all these people who you have to heal the healers, right?
Yeah, she's one of these ground level, gut level spiritual people that we just got to have on the show, and we're so lucky to have her come on in 2 weeks.
Yes, and it will be amazing. And I really do encourage people, if you can't call in, if you have any questions that you would like, you can send them to us at info@lightnews.org, and we can certainly, ask on air and talk with her and, just let things flow as they do in our show, because
really like some call-ins too, guys. Get up off your intention and dial and give us a call, and let's get some active dialogue going.
Oh, that would be lots of fun. And you can ask the really hard questions, and if you can make me snort on air, that's even better. So
we can do that.
But we have free energy work on a regular basis, and we really do look forward. Oh my goodness, we just had a huge lightning burst and thunder. There it goes. I don't know if you heard that, but my windows actually shook. So
anytime there's thunder or lightning, listeners, it resets all of Deirdre's circuits.
Oh, it does. I tell you, it's the best thing that could
woohoo.
ever. Yeah, it's the best thing that could ever happen. Yeah. I love a good storm, but I'm getting tired of them. So listeners, know we are here for you, and we would really love to hear from you on what you would like on the show. And if you would be interested in being a guest, I know we get people sending us requests, and keep them coming, because it's always nice to know that there's others that are interested in what we do and can share. I mean, that's how you learn, right? You don't learn unless you're able to talk to individuals that have been through the experience. And this is why, we've had Tania on the show today, and why we have others that come. So
yeah,
I love it.
So don't miss any of our shows. And like Deirdre told you, these are downloadable. They're archived shows. You can go to Spreaker, and you can get to that through the lightnews.org website. It's very easy to track down. And that's knowledge. Think of all the vast treasure of the people we've had on this show for 2.25 years now. And it's just there waiting for you. It's like an uncovered treasure of knowledge and wisdom that you can tap into for the cost of clicking on your computer. So that's what we offer to you. We put this together because there's so much richness that we can gain from in awakening our own spiritual experience in this lifetime to make it fulfilling. How about banishing fear and doubt from your life forever? What would that be like? How about banishing trepidation from your life? Or how about banishing riding the brake from your life? What would that be like? Well, that's the type of guests that we have on our show that show you how to build the spiritual muscles so that you are not affected in this way.
I love it. I'm sorry. I'm totally distracted by all this booming and banging and lightning and stuff. I get so excited. But that's just it. We get the ones that really want to share onto our show, and the ones that really want to help the individuals. So
And it takes work, though, Dee. It does.
Yeah.
It's like going to the gym. I mean, spirituality is not just something you can buy. You can go into the requisite metaphysical store and get the candle and the incense and the books and the pendulums and all that. But none of that means anything. It's you, the listener. You are the instrument of light. Those are just tools. But you have to pick up the tools and use them so that you can get the spiritual muscles.
Yeah. And it's interesting, because when we decided to go for 4 Wednesdays a month, at first I had a little bit of hesitation on what we would talk about, but we haven't had an issue with that. And, there is so much going on in the world right now energetically that I think that these shows and shows like these are so important to help people find the balance, and bringing on guests that can live in the balance are the ones that we would really like to do and to share with you all. And so check out the website, check out when our next journeys are coming up. Like the next, I guess, major one would be Costa Rica with Lisa Steeves.
That's April of next year. Yep.
In April.
That's Kundalini Yoga and the chakras.
And it will be amazing. So you can find that on our website as well. And of course, you can always contact any of our past people that have been on our show so that they can help you with anything that's coming up or just give you insight. We've had a couple of really, really good guests, including Tania and Teresa Helgeson and Michelle Qureshi. So there's so many different people out there that we've had on the show and that are here to support you.
Yeah, and that's the main thing, is supporting you on your journey, because a lot of people, they feel the urgency, they feel the pressure, they feel the changes going on in the world, but not everybody has tools by which they can manage the change and empower themselves. So think of us as your chakra depot, where you come here and we help you have the tools that you can use to empower yourself. Like I like to say, to stand on your own 2 feet as a self-realized, self-empowered being of light, because that's our true nature. Our true nature is a spirit who also has a physical existence, not the other way around. And so many spiritual teachers tell us that if we only knew the spiritual power we have, it would amaze us. So it's not about being amazed, and it's not about going into fascination with cool powers and superpowers. It's about realizing what the teachers call your true spiritual nature, that you're a limitless being of light who simultaneously, has a physical presence.
Exactly. So with only a minute left in our show, I would like to encourage our listeners to really take a moment and reflect on the topic of today. See if there's anything that came from this show that can encourage you to, move forward in life choices, embracing without judgment, seeing the gray, as Tania puts it, and not everything so black and white. And I think that you will really enjoy life to its fullest.
Precisely. And thank you so much, everyone, for listening to Light News Radio, Realms of Self-Empowerment. I'm your host, Dr. J, and of course, my amazing co-host is Deirdre. And so, as always, may the principles of harmlessness and compassion be the ever-present, ever-constant guide of your every intention, your every thought, and your every action. And so it is, and so it shall be. It is done. Stay attuned, everyone.
Thank you for joining Light News Radio, where you are self-empowered for your whole being. Connect with us at www.lightnews.org.